Choo-choo trains. You know anything about trains? I'll tell you a rumor about trains. First of all, when you own a real good one, you put your best restaurant on it. Surprisingly, Amtrak used to be there. Amtrak used to be like a 5-star restaurant. So I've heard. But yeah, what do you do with a flat iron steak? You understand that it's not pepper. Not pepper. Yeah. The is there a hole in the bottom of my cup, or did I spill one over off the side? Let's talk about let's talk about what's great on Earth, and let's talk about the other things that's important. 400 of these, you know that? You know how high of a pile that stacks? Yeah. I was thinking about Warren Buffett is like, I drink like 5 Cokes a day. That's awesome. But let's go back to what's great on Earth. I think his name was, but actually I don't know. I think his name was Thomas Edison, right? Did like electricity. That's when you're walking down the street and you want to see at night what's on the street, like a pothole or a rock or somebody else. And then I think, that's not good. I put that in it myself. I think that's important. And what I wanted to say was, some people don't actually pay attention to what other people say. How good is this? How good is your Coca-Cola? It's like this. Can I have 2 ounces? It's an after dinner shot. So a shot of Coca-Cola in a glass after dinner, that's your 2 ounces of Coke. But no, it's just 12. You'll get the drift. Remember what I said. 10 of us sat at the table, and each one of us thought, 2 and 2, how much is that? Be happy what you get, what you have. And when you see things out front, you have to understand what is out front. So I come from this oil and gas place. They have oil and gas. And surprisingly, the economy doesn't do very well with it. Not very well at all. And there's not a lot of money there, I don't think. So, and then I heard the rumors. This is in like early 1900s, it's like they had the 6 richest people on Earth in our town. I was like, wow, can you imagine that? 6 of the richest people on Earth. I didn't believe it either. Anyways, do you see that? How do you know a rich guy? How do you know a rich witch? How do you know? You don't. Well, today you do, because it's like, what do they call it? What do they call it? It's like, it's going on the computer and it's like, Google it. Oh, so the world's richest man is Warren Buffett again. And Warren and Bill were like fighting it out. You know, it's like with Warren, there's Bill. With Warren is Bill. And you have to understand that these guys are not Edison. How rich do you think Edison was? And I'll tell you how rich. And I'll tell you how geniusness he is. That today we're still using his stuff. We're still using stuff. This company's been around for 228 years. 225, 230, 240. I better check. But whatever brought this forward, which is seeing at night, is really important. So when you have something you like, it's like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to have half of this. And then you can give out one shot of 2 ounces, which is a third of the leftovers. And the other 6 or 8 of you can split 4. Can split it. You go to church, you got a taste, didn't you? You don't hear it at this church. But some churches you don't get a taste. I even brought wine myself once. Still never got a taste. Finally asked the father, I said, what about the blood in the body, And he said, well, yeah, maybe. I dropped some wine off it. He said, well, maybe on Easter, which is like a year away. But anyways, so this taste is really important. And taste is important, and it grows. Now, understanding that whoever made this taste was important. This is enjoyment. What do you think walking down the street is? Everybody likes to walk down the street with lights on, don't they? So, when you stand up and you think, you know what? You clap, you're done. Nobody claps today. Clapping's out. Done. Trust me on this one. So, let's just say you stand up. So let's just say everybody stands up. That would be something. But what do you do? What do you do? Clapping's still out, trust me. You understand that that's your vote. So you stand up. Yep. That's a yes vote. You can all be seated. What do you think about that rule? Do you like Coke? Is there lights in there? Who do you think put the lights on? That's right. And there are many, 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 many smart people on this planet. And they will tell you this. Thomas Edison was a genius. He gave us something that was unthinkable. The same was true for Hitler. He gave us something that was unthinkable. But it was the transportation that worked. Hitler did roads, call them autobahns or freeways, where, that's what I heard, where Edison did electricity. I'll take a double and we'll call it we're good. We're good. When you trust the electricity guy, nobody trusts nobody. This is what I want to say. We're done fighting. We're not going to fight. We're going to vote. And then you can do whatever you want. Whatever you want, you can do. Now, how do we vote today? I know how we do it. The left leg and the right leg stand up. And guess what? Everybody sits down and has a tea. That worked for me, Isn't that funny? You don't understand that this is how they do things today. You're popular. You're popular. You're popular. Excuse me. I'm riding a train, and I've already been assaulted by like 5 or 6 different things. My nose is plugged up. Got things in my throat. My foot hurts. Freaking. All these little problems. And I actually don't think they're assaults. I think they're people that got assaulted and walked by me. Made me mad. Not really mad, but just a little, so I'm telling you. So, I'm not in the best mood. And I want to tell you, how big is a pallet? Does it really matter if the pallet can go through the doors when you could walk out, take the plastic off of the wooden crate? Be careful with that crowbar. You pop one of those things, you're in for it. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. One by one, you hand these over, are 6x6, more like 6x6. 6x6, you hand these over and restack it inside the doors. What's happening? What's happening? Everybody's thinking. And the guy that's going from one side to the other side says, it's a lobby. It's a lobby action, Lobbies are really important, especially when you're on this new leadership deal. They look beauty, and that's what they do. And then once they like beauty, then they sort beauty by different ways, such as a study, which I seen one competition last year. Somebody might have been unexpectedly there that I wasn't expecting, which would be like a congressman member or something, but not. Anyways, they had this competition of these 3 guys, the one guy coming back and 2 new guys. And the one guy stood up, and he was more like me. I believe he was a contractor, So he'd done a lot of stuff. The other guy, he was coming back, so he already got in, and he got in by the Hell's Angels way. You know how that is? I'll tell you how that is. Everybody else decided not to do it, so I won. Can you imagine that? I won. So that's how he got in to his place. And then the other guy came in, and I was sitting there listening to it, and the last guy, he knew everything. He had the answers. He had everything almost perfect. I have to bust that guy in the face. Spray one more thing on me. So anyways, the incumbent guy, that was Jack. Crap. The only thing he did good was smile. That's all he did. That's all he did was smile. And he did talk. Which, as far as I was concerned, he said absolutely nothing with a smile. Which, if I seen a picture in a magazine, I'd be like, that might be something. So this guy's talking, right? And he's talking about all these different things, the bridges and this and that, and you can do this, that, and that. And I was thinking, wow. And he was actually studied, So he studied, and he knew all this stuff. And I was thinking, wow, that's a good deal. So the voting comes up. And what I didn't know is the guy that studied, but it has nothing to do with making the decision. No, because my 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 journalism teacher insisted that we study all this as memorization. I don't do memorization. I don't even watch TV. Who is Charlie Chaplin? Uh, no, it's important because it has to be that name. And what he didn't teach is, that's the first whatever. But anyways, understanding that there's a lesson to learn is something else. So anyways, the studied guy, I was thinking that first. That's the best thing to do. And then, after all the elections were over, and they all won, kind of like that. No, it was funny because there was 9 positions and there were only 3 guys. So, it's something kind of like that, The guy that didn't know jack shit that got in there, but he knew everything that he had learned that year. Those 2 years or 4 years, 6, whatever it was. So, all this information that he starts talking about is stuff that you actually don't talk about. So, what do? That's knowledge from doing or being in that situation, and what you do is you give your best answer. The contractor guy, he didn't like the guy that didn't know nothing, that was, going to lose. While, whatever the clash was, which I can imagine, starting from nothing or, going into a situation without basic knowledge of what you're doing, such as building. You build something, you have a basic knowledge of it. Asking somebody questions and giving them A, B, or C choices, they can get that done. So it was kind of surprised that the study guy was sounding the best, but the incumbent was really, really close to being the best. Yet then the contractor from basic everything was the best or is the best. And when you first address this, you don't understand that it really didn't matter what any of them said until I studied what they already were doing for their election. And in my situation, it wasn't a beauty contest. It was a daring contest to get out and wave at parked cars and stuff like that. But whatever they do, it's important that it's not just a beauty contest, but that must be the first thing considering. So, when you go to the lobby and you think about it, who do you really think is behind this electricity thing? It's really important. Prices, right? Everything else, you don't need to know. But what I'm saying is, when the lobby speaks, pay attention. Because when the right and the left stand up, you don't just sit around and have a tea and cakes. You do what they say. And this is what they're going to say when they stand up. We voted for you. That's how come when the guy comes to the door, everybody stands up. You voted for him. That's how he got to the top, right? Supposedly, I think that's how it works. It might work differently, but let's get to going forward. Why would you vote for him? Because you thought he was the best. I mean, not voting for yourself because you want the job, but voting for who you think is right. I called you 2 years ago when I said, we are out of electricity. What did you say? No. Oh, that's not what I said. Oh, I remember what I said. We are out of gas. And everybody's driving around still. What do you think we should do about all that? you guys have to be paying attention by now, because not just knowing that you voted and are standing there, but the study came through. You know as well as I do, accidents happen. So, I know, but that was family. So that's an accident. And when family does something, that's a big deal. So, now that we're short, 25,000, things are different. 32,000? Oh, wait. We're short 32,000 out of the 32,002. So, we're short 32,000. Yeah. Well, does that matter? Do you want the whole can? Are you paying attention? Because not just are we out of gas, but now we're out of electricity. What do you think of that? Pay attention. Something has to be done, and when you learn, it's important. Okay. We just learned that keeping 32,002 things in one fucking basket is too much. Okay? And not just too much, but there's too many, she never gave me one, straws in the basket. Get your straw out of the basket. We're short. You know what I'm saying? You have two. And I hate to say it, but electricity would be a good example of what you want. Will keep, and so is gas. Well, let's go like this. Let's go with gas. I don't even have a coin to flip. Well, for gas, 80%. So remember what I said. Don't just vote, but look and see who's voting.